If you have a fringe or bangs and you wake up in the morning and your fringe is like this, like literally the McDonald's M, but you want it to look like this, I'm gonna show you how to get there. You're gonna want a water spray, or to be honest, you could just tip your head over the sink. You need to thoroughly wet the roots down so that you're getting rid of any growth patterns. Then you want to take a tail comb. The easiest way to section your fringe, most fringes are cut like in a triangle pattern. So if you just take the end of the comb and draw diagonally down and diagonally down. Fringe is soaking wet. My fringe naturally will want to dry and kind of split in the middle, so I'm really pulling that down. And I do always like to dry a bit of volume into the fringe, so I'm just going to use a little volumizing spray. I'm going to use a hairdryer and a brown brush today. First thing I want to do is just turn my dryer on and just get out some of this moisture, and I literally am just going to dry it all downwards and kind of just rake my fingers through and brush it side to side, but everything just down. Now it's quite dry, it's just a little bit damp, but you can see I've literally just focused on it just lying flat. Now that it's just at its damp point, we can actually start to shape it. So firstly, I'm just gonna go in and do kind of your standard brush underneath, and then I'm just gonna lift it up and tuck it under for volume. And you're like rotating the brush as you're doing that. I actually go in the complete opposite way because I don't wanna look too kind of Whoville with like a round fringe. So I then go the opposite way, pop the brush on top of the hair, and then literally blow dry it in the complete opposite direction. And this also helps to keep it nice and flat at the root. Looking like this at this point. And I go back in and just do one underneath. And you see how it's like perfectly got the perfect amount of volume in already. If I were just to do it up and over, it's going to have given too much volume and too much roundness. I just want the edges just to flick out a little bit further. Then I just take my brush and I pop it in vertically and just kick these edges out now. Then as I say with my fringe, I do want to avoid any harsh parting, and it does naturally want to part in the middle. So I grab that together. Then I grab my little no dent clips. I'll put one in that direction, one in that direction, just keeping the fringe together. Then I will hairspray it in this position, and I like to kind of pinch and have these positioned exactly where I want before I spray. And you only want to leave these clips in for like 5 minutes. And there we go. Perfect amount of volume, still kind of covering the forehead, flicking out on the edges. Yeah, kind of just staying put as well where we want it.